Everyone else is going. So I want to talk about the new Behind the Dead teaser. I don't know if this is episode 9 or episode 10, but I think there's only going to be a couple more of these, to be honest, because I think that we're going to get another one on August 25th, and then there will be one September 1st, most likely. And then after that, it's September 8th, right, on the Monday, and that'll be after episode 1. So I don't think we're going to get a Behind the Dead thing there. I really do wonder what they're going to do for episode insiders. I mean, at that point, you're mostly talking about, like, the episodes and stuff, right? So I think that that would work. Honestly, think that for the episodes, the best thing to do is just release the trailer after the episode for, like, you know, what to see in episode 2 or like the next episode, but not release the episode insiders. I think that, you know, having those just like released on like a Monday or Tuesday or whatever afterwards, like that's exciting. That's really cool. But to have it at the end of the episodes, to me, it just, I don't really watch them that much anymore, but like if it's on YouTube or something, I do watch it. So like that would be like my recommendation anyways, but I want to break this down and also get into the Q&A at the very end of this. So definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead Daryl Dixon content like this, because season 3 will be here in just 16 days from now, which is really fast. Like I really have not been focused on like The Walking Dead or just like anything with it really, because I've been really just trying to enjoy summer and you know, but it's literally like right around the corner. Summer is basically ending now and The Walking Dead is about to be here, and it's going to be here for a lot longer than it has in previous years, because we are actually getting an extra episode here with this, and also Dead City Season 2 had 2 extra episodes, right? So this year, we have a lot more for The Walking Dead, and we also have Fallout Season 2 and a bunch of other shows later on this year. Also Cold Water for Andrew Lincoln, right? So a lot of stuff that I'm really hyped about, and also I'm really interested in how Season 3 is going to end here for Daryl Dixon, because I do want to see how they set up the final season. Like now that we know it's the final season, and they've known that, I'm interested in seeing how they're going to set up that last episode, because it has to be a cliffhanger. Like if there's going to be any season finale that is a cliffhanger, it's going to be the second to last season, right? Because you're going to be building up hype for the very final season. So in this new thing here for Behind the Dead, we actually do see some shots here of this really cool showdown between Daryl and this other character. It looks like this is going to be something that happens, I'm guessing like episode 3 or 4 or something, and it seems to do with the offering. Like that seems to be the big thing that this community has to deal with, is that they offer, I guess, to this other community and whatnot in order to, you know, stay safe and not get attacked by, I guess, that community. And so it's interesting because it's almost in a way very similar to the Saviors, right? Like if you think about the Saviors, they wanted half of their stuff, but they never really took people. Like, yeah, they took Eugene at one point and Daryl, and maybe there was a couple of other characters, but for the most part, it was just supplies, right? And then they helped, I guess, protect you kind of, but not really. This community here, like they just want people, and so it is kind of interesting because the whole saying back in the day in The Walking Dead were that people are a resource, right? And so it's interesting because they're literally, that's actually a big part of the story here for season 3. And so I think that, yeah, obviously Daryl at this point is standing up to them, and I'm just really impressed by, I mean, obviously this is a behind the scenes shot, but like, I'm just really impressed by a lot of the visuals here, because I just think it looks really great having Daryl, this other group here. And, you know, from what I'm gathering, there might be 2 different groups potentially. Like there might be one group that, you know, wants the offering or whatever they're calling it, but there might be another group that they're also dealing with. I could be wrong on how I'm understanding this story so far, but that's sort of what I'm getting as of right now. We do see Carol and Daryl and 2 other characters here actually traveling to this new community. And so Carol is hurt and obviously needs help, and this likely happened after they arrived on the shores of Spain. This has to be probably, honestly, maybe the second episode. The first episode, there's going to be so much there with the characters in London. Like, that's the thing about the story, is like, it's not starting in Spain immediately. They're going to be in London, and they will be there for a while, right? Like, it's not just going to be them literally going there to get a boat and then leaving. Like, Carol and Daryl travel around, you know, there's some stuff about like the military, they learn, you know, some information there, you know, they camp out there at night, they meet a new character, there's going to be scenes of them talking to this new character, eventually getting a boat and then traveling and leaving. So it's going to be a good portion of that first episode. There's going to be a storm likely, it seems like it anyways. When they're on that boat traveling back to America, something happens and they end up in Spain, right? So I think that's going to be a lot of the first episode. So you get a shot like this. This, I think, is going to be episode 2, because I think it's too much to fit into that very first episode. And Carol is hurt, so it does seem like, I mean, obviously she is going to be fine, but And I will also say with Carol, it is kind of cool to hear Melissa McBride talking about, how they filmed a lot of the shots here for season 3, because just in terms of directing and all that, it was a lot of like low shots that were like sort of angled up higher and things like that. And it's cool because like you never hear the actors talking about the process of making a lot of this, right? Like, at least I never really heard Melissa McBride talking about this too much. Honestly, Lauren Cohen, I've heard talk about this only because she's directed episodes, but the actors haven't mentioned a lot about that. Like, Norman Reedus, I think, mentioned a few things of like, what it was like to film there, and we're filming it like it's something that would have been made in Spain or like in France, right? But I haven't really heard any conversation about, how it's technically done and things like that. So yeah, just kind of a cool thing to hear here, but I'm really excited about this here. So we have Daryl on this bike, and there's a lot of talk about like spaghetti westerns and stuff, and I think that will be a big part of this season specifically. I think season 4 will have aspects to that, but by the time we're going into season 4, we're going to be so used to it. So I think for the 3rd season, we're going to get a lot of that here, and I actually think that episode 5, I believe, is what it is. I think Norman Reedus talked about that. Like, that one I really feel like is going to be mostly on Daryl surviving in the desert, and he's going to be out there on his bike going up against, a few people. He's going to be out there trying to survive and whatnot, and there's not going to be a lot of dialogue. I mean, I'm assuming that just based off of what they're saying here, because, Daryl is similar to another character in a different movie that doesn't really talk a lot, so I feel like it's literally going to be Daryl just surviving, and the episode is going to be like him in the desert, and he encounters a bunch of people there, and there's a bunch of stuff that happens, and there might be that whole train sequence that's there and like walkers and stuff. I really hope that they do something with that this season. I think that this season specifically, because it's set in Spain and you have the desert there, it's just so perfect to do this story. I've always wanted to see the characters just trying to survive in Spain, and like they're in a desert and they have no water and they're having a hard time surviving, and maybe walkers are around. There's some problems that happen and whatnot. Just like a lot of the shots that we're seeing here. I mean, honestly, like a lot of the visuals here are incredible. I wish that this was honestly on The Walking Dead season 12 in some way. Like if somehow on that show with all of the other characters, they could have had a story like this. I think that would have made everything really awesome. I think that's really what's missing here, is just you want to see the other characters also, experiencing a lot of this. It's cool to have Daryl here. It really is. And I think that this season is going to be a really great season. I actually think it's going to be much better than season 2. But yeah, it's just, again, like Daryl, like it looks like he's just trying to survive out here. And then he sees like a bunch of bikers here driving towards him. And so, that could be really bad for him. Maybe it ends up being one of those things where, they chase him down, and you see Daryl here just like in the desert, and there's like nothing around, and it's just him on his bike. It's just going to be really awesome to see. I really can't wait. I hope that a lot of the music here is just more atmospheric, if anything, and just really explore that, and like do maybe, I don't know, just have like, I guess, an acoustic guitar for the most part. If you're going to choose any type of music, something with an acoustic guitar, have it be very just, I guess down to earth, I think, with the music, and just really, that's it. Just somebody singing with a guitar, no other instruments. That'd be really awesome for a scene like this. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. I really can't wait. But let's get into the actual Q&A here, because I did want to answer some questions here before this video ended. Q&A, do you think that after Daryl Dixon ends, there could be more shows that take place in other places around the Walking Dead universe? I hope so personally, because I want to see China and Canada and Ireland in the Walking Dead world. I like seeing the wider universe beyond America. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I think that we probably will get stuff like that. Like, I just don't know as to how they're going to do it. I know that the one thing that they're likely working on right now is getting all the characters to reunite, because it does seem like it's time now, and I think that they know it. And because it's going to be the final season next year, I really think that that's what they're working on right now, that it's going to be something with all the characters reuniting, because there's no way that this is the end and like that's it for the characters. There's going to be something else. It seems like they're talking about that right now, and I think that, yeah, that's where they're going. But in terms of having a story set anywhere else, like an original series or something, like they got to do that, and I think the next thing to do is have something with a different environment. You could set it in the States still, but you could definitely do something more, I think, with like, I don't know, in the snow or things like that. I know the budget goes up when it's like, a winter environment and everything. So I do get that. I just think that it would be great to see something, I don't know, like that's the thing. Like they're filming in France and they're filming in Spain, and it costs a lot to do that. Like, I think the budget for these spin-offs are just so incredibly high that it almost hurts The Walking Dead because, again, their budgets are so high for these shows. But The Walking Dead's budget was, I don't think, that high. Like, maybe it was, I could be wrong, but I don't think it was. So I think that it makes a lot more sense for The Walking Dead to go back to longer episodes and have a smaller budget, have it more around the Commonwealth and Alexandria and all of that, because I think it made a lot more sense. I think for the story, you can still do really awesome things and, you know, improve the quality of everything. It's just the budget goes up so much, and when you're filming in other places around the world, you're going to be filming there, and you got to get the actors there, and it's just the budget has to go up for that, right? So I think that's why it just, I don't know if it's going to work, and I think we will see something again. I just don't know when it's going to happen. I really think right now what they're really going to focus on is getting the characters to be in a really exciting place again, having them all reunite, and then we'll just kind of see where they go from there based off of the numbers and all that, which obviously will pick up a lot. It's just how much, right? Like, we don't really know that. We'll have to see what The Walking Dead does in the next couple of years. I think that things will change in a really big way. Like, I think it's going to be one of those things where I think The Walking Dead is either going to end, like they'll reunite everyone and then that's it. And then they'll do other spinoffs like a Next Generation thing or whatever, or it's going to be something where they reboot The Walking Dead right away. Because I do want to do a video talking about that. Like, I've talked about, obviously, The Walking Dead getting a reboot at some point, but at what point is it okay to reboot the story? Because honestly, it would be kind of cool to see the original first 4 or 5 seasons retold again and seeing like a comic accurate version of the story. I know a lot of people want an animated series. That would be cool, but I wouldn't mind like another live action, just TV show or whatever, retelling everything from the beginning. The only issue with that is that you're getting rid of characters like Daryl, and I think Daryl's an awesome character to have. He was an original character of the show, and so there's just a lot of different things, I think, when you do a story like that. But obviously, I think at some point it is going to be something that will be talked about, and I'm not sure entirely when. Like, I look at Marvel's not at that point yet, but I do think in the next 5 to 10 years there will be a lot of talk about like rebooting everything and getting into other things, because you just want to have things a little bit more exciting again, right? And tell those original like stories in the beginning. So I'll have to wait and see. Q&A, will you be watching Fallout Season 2 in December? Yes, I will be. I've been really looking forward to this. I'm actually going to play Fallout 3, I believe. I'm not sure which one I'll play, but I do want to play those games because I want to know more of, you know, what happens in that story. And I think a lot of those games there, 3 and the other story, are going to be a big part of Season 2. So I want to know a lot more about that. I do know a lot about Fallout 4, Fallout 76, and just like other things from like the original Fallout. And I've learned a lot covering the first season of Fallout, but I want to know more there. And I'm excited for Fallout Season 2. Like, I like the apocalypse. I like storytelling in the apocalypse, and I think Fallout does a really great job at that, and it's a different take on it. Obviously, it's not zombies necessarily. So Season 1 was really good. It was a really great season. I was really wanting Season 2 to be out earlier this year, but it's going to be out in December, so it's not that long of a wait, and I hope that Season 3 is also out next December or something, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm just excited to cover the show and also watch it. I think it's going to be 10 episodes. I also think they're not, I mean, it could be 8 episodes, but I also think that they're not releasing it all on one day. That was the issue with Fallout Season 1. They released it all in one day, and it was really hard to review everything because I wanted to review everything like episode by episode and talk about what could happen, but they released everything all in one day, and so it was like, okay, well, I guess I can't really talk about like this episode and what could happen in the week after. I think they're releasing everything week to week though, so that'll be really exciting. I'm really, honestly, a huge fan of Fallout, and so it is apocalypse related, and that is really one of my favorite genres, I will say, in horror, and so yeah, I'm excited. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.